It is very hard to communicate facts without your interpretation of them or how people feel. I'm saying men will walk away, and men will walk away for two reasons. Number one reason, the quality of wives is too low. The women are too overweight. Not all. The women are too overweight. The women are too slutty. And the women, there's just not enough quality wives. Aaron Clary broke down the numbers that Michael Knowles, he was kind of disputing them in our debate. But Aaron Clary did a whole video you can look up on his channel. It's from the Book of Numbers, going through how they got the 5% of women are marriageable stat.
Men notice the double standard clearly now. Jokes about a man's height are treated as harmless entertainment, while men having physical preferences gets framed as offensive or shallow. In reality, both sides have preferences, but only one side constantly gets lectured for expressing them openly. A growing number of men simply stopped apologizing for standards they're allowed to have.
Comply or goodbye. That's how it goes. Now, if you want to take my advice and listen to me, cool. If you don't, fine. You'll stay single for a couple more years.
I know it sounds harsh, but what he's saying is most women never tell you this in person. They'll be like, you know what?
Nah, bro.
You're amazing. I love you. Da da da.
And that
lie.
attitude, that attitude of I'm not gonna change or I don't care what men want. I only want what I want. You're cooked, bro. You're never gonna get a guy to
but
take
I
you
never
seriously.
said that I wasn't gonna change, and we had this conversation earlier. I just said in this moment that right now I'm doing me, straight up, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying you asked.
That's not gonna work. That's not
Why
going
are
to
you
work.
getting so angry right
I
now?
am doing me is stupid.
Why are you getting so whatever?
I'm not mad. I'm just
You're
telling
just
you.
getting super aggressive. Like
No,
if my man
because-
wants me to do something different, then I'm gonna do something different. Like I don't know why you're
you
saying
ain't
that
gonna
I'm not.
get him. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I am not worried about that. Like I'm genuinely not. I get asked on like a daily, weekly basis if I want to be someone's wife.
More men are reaching a point where constant disrespect just stops feeling worth tolerating. What gets labeled as strength sometimes looks more like hostility and emotional detachment disguised as independence. Men aren't impressed by arrogance nearly as much as social media claims they are. Eventually, men stop forcing connections where appreciation and mutual respect no longer exist.
I put makeup on just for this date, so it better go well. And I'm not posting this, probably, if it doesn't. It did not go well. Truthfully, it lasted less than 2 minutes. I walked up, he gave me a hug and said, "Are you hungry? Let's go inside." We went inside. He said, "Actually, can you step outside for a minute?" I stepped back outside and he said, "I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just not feeling it." So I walked to my car, came back home. Dating when you're fat sucks.
A lot of men have stopped pretending filters, and carefully staged angles don't matter. When reality doesn't match the presentation, interest disappears fast. At least some guys are honest enough to leave immediately instead of forcing fake attraction just to avoid hurting feelings. Harsh or not, honesty saves both people time in the long run. Most men would rather walk away quietly than participate in something that already feels misleading from the start.
As a woman, you need to learn how to flip the script and make everything that man's fault. Even, it don't matter.
I see dozens of videos like this every single day. Explain to me again the benefit to a man being in a relationship with a woman, because there isn't.
A lot of men hear the phrase, "I'm focused on myself," and immediately recognize the imbalance behind it. Self-improvement is healthy, but when it becomes an excuse to ignore accountability, relationships naturally fall apart. That "take me exactly as I am while I ignore what you want" mindset pushes stable men away over time. Men are becoming far more selective about where they invest their time, attention, and emotional energy.
Alright, I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all aren't gonna like it. Doesn't make it any less true. Here we go. A lot of really good men are leaving marriages. Why is that? Is it because they fell out of love? Or is it something else? A lot of what we're seeing now is men leaving marriages, not because they've fallen out of love, but because they feel unappreciated within that marriage. Now, these guys, they work all day, they provide, they make sure you're safe, they make sure you're taken care of. What do they get in return? A lot of them are getting criticism for what they didn't do, as opposed to the thankfulness for what they do. Men are not like women. They don't need a big show of affection. They don't need a parade. They don't need constant gifts. But what they do need is appreciation, gratitude, respect. What they want to hear is that the person they're working so hard for, or the family that they're working so hard for, to say, we appreciate all that hard work you're putting in. We see you. When a man feels unappreciated at home, doesn't matter how much he loves you, at a certain point, he can't keep continuing to pour from an empty cup. He's going to stop trying to pour into a cup that's continually empty. He's also going to stop pouring into a cup that constantly is looked at as half full.
Men aren't stepping back because they forgot how to love. Many are stepping back because they got tired of being treated like providers first and men second. Appreciation disappeared in a lot of modern relationships long before the effort did. Eventually, even patient men realize constant sacrifice without respect stops making sense.
You can be in love and be really unhappy. Having a relationship that's causing you constant anxiety, constant heartache, constant pain, feeling overlooked, not feeling important. You can be in love and all of those things still be true. How crazy is that?
If the pain were truly personal, it probably wouldn't need an audience. Real heartbreak usually gets processed privately, not edited into content for strangers online. A lot of emotional social media culture feels more performative than authentic at this point. Some men are chasing validation for their pain more than actually healing from it.
The top 20% is doing 80% of the sales, making 80% of the money, getting 80% of the business. If you extrapolate that as far as social dynamics and men and women, the top 20% of men are getting 80% of the box. Okay? That's just kind of how it works. So if you strive for greatness and you become the top 20%, the top G, mate, you're going to get 80% of the women. That's just kind of how it is.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of capitalism. And not to get all economic here, is that in socialism, everyone's equal. This whole equality thing, we're all equal. But that means there's no greatness and there's no below average. Everyone's fucking normal.
Absolutely.
The problem with that is, if everyone's normal and we're all having a good time, who's cleaning up for after the party?
That imbalance exists in almost every area of life. Whether it's money, business, attention, or dating, the top percentage usually absorbs most of the opportunities while everyone else competes for what remains. Dating apps and social media amplified that reality even more. Many men aren't comparing themselves to normal standards anymore. They're comparing themselves to curated extremes.
It's hard to have your shit together. It's hard to be kicking ass in this fucking complicated, bizarre world that we live in. This is why women are so picky. When you see that 80% of the women are attracted to 20% of the men.
The pressure placed on men today is hard to ignore. Men are expected to succeed financially, stay physically fit, remain emotionally controlled, and somehow never struggle publicly. One weak moment can completely change how they're viewed socially and romantically. A lot of average men aren't overlooked because they lack value. They're overlooked because modern standards became unrealistic.
We're all fucking the same men. You know, there's like 20% of men that are sleeping with 80% of the women.
All right, then we go home, man. I think we're good. We got this. We got this handled. What else is there to say?
So I feel exactly.
Go ahead.
So we feel like men are bad, but we have to understand that it's not men that are bad. It's women that have lied to themselves and given us these fairy tales from the media and from Disney movies and from all these things that have given us this fairy tale ending with one man being faithful to one woman and them living happily the fuck ever after. And that does not exist anymore. Maybe it does in faith-based religions and institutions like that, but even then it gets even weirder in those scenarios. But I think women have to, we have to come to reality that this is a pipe dream and we have to learn to adjust and become more high value, because as you and I, I've hit the wall, you're not there yet, but I mean, some might consider she has. So we have to understand that this is a battle.
Social media completely distorted self-perception for a lot of people. Constant attention, likes, and messages create an inflated sense of options that often doesn't translate into real-world relationships. Validation became so accessible online that many people started confusing attention with genuine value. And once perception becomes disconnected from reality, relationships start collapsing under unrealistic expectations. If the message hit, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.